Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another Women's Spirit interview. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here. I have a very special guest today. If you're all curious about how to get in tune with your own nervous system. You are about to meet the nervous system whisperer, and she's incredible. And as we all know, or maybe you're learning, your nervous system is such a powerful and important tool in your journey of awakening and wellness. So, everyone, welcome to this Women's Spirit interview. I'm interviewing Heather Hanson today, and I'm so excited because this woman is amazing. Before I introduce her, though, just Heather, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
Yeah, this is a great group. I love this group and it's incredible. So, let me share your amazing light and your wisdom with them all. So, Heather Hanson is an award winning international speaker, best selling author, and nervous system whisperer. Like I said, I promised you that. She empowers women over 40 to reconnect with their bodies, release what they've been carrying, and step into midlife with peace, purpose, and strength. If any of you like the sound of that, peace, purpose, and strength, put yes in the comments because Heather's unique approach blends science, soul, and lived experience into transformation. And that's what we all need more of right now is like that blend and real and true transformation. So Heather, again, thank you for being here. Can we just dive right in? What does transformation really mean?
It can mean anything you want it to mean, right? For me, I think we transform so many times in our lives, right? And especially as we enter each decade of our lives, we're transforming. And where I see women getting stuck, me too, is grasping onto the past, wanting to be like we were when we were 20 or wanting to be like we were when we were 30. And when
Yeah.
we're grasping onto the past, it really doesn't give us the freedom to move into our future and really be the new self, the newest version of ourselves. And we're always stepping into that each day that we're alive, but it can be scary.
Right.
And it can feel heavy. And then it prevents people from taking action. And so, if you want to be somebody else, you can. You just have to make the decision to take the really tough steps into the new version of yourself.
The tough steps into the new version because we want this new version, but for some reason, like you said, we grasp onto the past. Why do we do that? Like, why can't we let go? Because it seems like we all say it, I'm ready to let go, I'm cutting the ties. But then when it comes down to it, in those secret moments, it's really hard. Why is it so hard?
It's interesting because I have done so much education, more of where I was forced into it, kicking and screaming, and no, I don't want to do it. And then I was being pulled through it at the other end with just versions of going into mindset and neurolingual programming and this trauma certification class that I thought I was taking for my clients. Turned out it was really for me. The version of that class is called the Murray method, but it identifies that we're the mom and we have three children. We have the original child, the person that we would be had none of the crap happened to us.
Wow.
Then we have the sobbing child that holds our pain. And then we have the controlling child. And for a lot of us, our controlling child takes over and doesn't let the sobbing child do its thing of letting go of the pain, and then the original child can't be there either.
Yeah.
And it's hard. There's hard stuff in there, and it's not easy to walk through that. But when we realize it's just a process,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A process to go through, and it looks very different for each person. There's not a one size fits all mold,
That
unfortunately.
makes a lot of sense. Like it's a process we have to walk through. It's not just going to happen out of nowhere. We're going to walk through it. And
Mhm.
you've walked through some pretty big stuff. How did you come to be doing what you're doing now?
It's been this evolution. I honestly feel that I was born a very old soul and I was very different than anybody else. I had my ideas. I didn't want anyone telling me what to do. I was going to protect myself and I wanted to take care of people. And that's what led me into just diving into taking nursing classes and getting into the medical field and working in primary care. And at
Wow.
the time, I still had autoimmunity that no one really knew what to do with. I had autoimmune thyroid and I had a really big goiter. I should show you pictures sometime. It's almost comical and scary that someone didn't know what to do with it when I was a teenager
Wow.
with that. And My wanting to take care of people was probably a little bit too intense. I wanted to rescue everybody.
Yep.
And I wanted to rescue myself because I didn't want to be told that there was no hope of me feeling better. And I wasn't about to take handfuls of medications and just accept that this is how I was going to feel, the best that I was ever going to feel. And going through that journey, it opened pieces up for me, right? I started feeling better by changing what I was eating and what I was doing. And I really wasn't identifying that there was some big trauma pieces that I had shed during that time too, but I didn't know it until maybe 10 or 15 years later. And looking backwards from that, it was actually a letter that I wrote to my parents when my first nephew was born and he just turned 18. I wrote all the raw stuff out. And it was basically a letter that you stay away from him, do not do anything. I wanted to protect him. And that letter really freed me because I mailed it. I didn't just write it
So it
and
wasn't just one of those that you write and burn.
right. I
Yeah.
have no idea if they ever read it. I have no idea. They may not have, but it didn't. And looking back, there was a piece that gave me freedom, but then it helped me evolve into I'm going to help other people learn how to take care of their bodies better. I'm going to say, no, you're 40 years old. You're not supposed to be tired and have diabetes and all the things. It doesn't matter if your parents did. You
Yes.
don't need to succumb to that.
We don't have to adopt those patterns. Right.
Don't. And so luckily, I worked in this particular family practice for 9 years already, and the doctor told me pretty much just do whatever you want. And so I brought in this therapeutic lifestyle program,
Right.
and 80% of the people got better with what we were doing with food and exercise and water. They were getting off of medications, but there was 20% of them that did not get better.
Hmm.
And I wanted to know why, what was going on with them. And that took me a deep dive into the gut health, immune system. I figured out my own son had celiac disease. It's just this whole evolution of learning the next layer.
Yeah.
And so it's been a journey of building the layers of knowing if you're really going to get to root cause, the nervous system is where it's at because the nervous system turns on the immune system. And if you want the immune system to be able to relax and not be so overactive, you must work on the nervous system first.
Wow. So if somebody has gut issues or joint pain or anything, you start with the nervous system. That makes a lot of sense.
And I didn't always, I was the gut health paramedic. I was helping everyone with their gut health, right? And they were getting better until COVID.
Yeah.
And
That
what
was a
we
shift for a lot of people. It was like, whew.
it was a shift. And it was like, what is going on? And the shift was all of the pieces of the bricks that people had been building that weren't stable started to crumble. And it was most of their crap they didn't deal with.
Yeah.
Old trauma, the old emotions, the old things started coming bubbling back out. There was so much uncertainty on what was even going on. And their nervous system was on fire. And
Yeah.
then there needed to be a way to quiet it down to be able to get better.
Do you have a tip for our audience right now? Like, what is a way that somebody who's, well, let's start with this actually. How do they know their nervous system is on fire? Because a lot of people will just be like, oh, it's my this or my that, or they don't even know. And I've been talking a lot about burnout with a lot of the speakers I've been chatting with. So, how do we know that our nervous system needs attention?
I think the biggest thing is knowing how you feel when you wake up,
Mm,
right? When you are ready to get out of bed, if you're hitting the snooze button, if you're dragging out of bed, if you're grabbing one cup of coffee after next cup of coffee because you need to something to get you going, if you're feeling achy and you have all of these things that just don't feel right, that's a big sign that your nervous system needs some help.
yeah.
If you feel like you're stuck in your head trying to think your way out of things, that's a big sign that your nervous system needs
Right.
some help.
Or I hear a lot of women saying they can't get to sleep because their mind is going, or they wake up and their mind is going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a big, and I will tell you, that was me. I kept myself so busy, which really helped me career wise and personal wise, but it wasn't a long term solution of keeping themselves so busy doing so many things because they can't sit with themselves for 2 minutes
Yeah.
because all the stuff comes bubbling up and they don't want to feel that uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
So the quietness is a big sign that your nervous system, not being able to sit in silence or quiet or peace for a few moments, that's a big sign that your nervous system is on fire.
This is so crucial because so many speakers and teachers and leaders will say, just take a breath or be quiet or like pause. But for women whose nervous systems are jacked up, it's like that's the worst thing they could have pictured doing. So, what do you recommend?
It's starting small. When, I mean, this wasn't very long ago when I couldn't sit for 2 minutes, maybe 2020, where I could not sit and visualize for 2 minutes. I think, oh my God, I have to do all these things. Why would I sit here for 2 minutes doing this? I just can't. And I had to baby step it in. I had to step with maybe 30 seconds. Like, okay. And then I made it a competition for myself,
Oh,
right?
that works.
A lot of us are very competitive when we want to check that box and we want to meet that goal of setting that timer for a minute and actually sitting there for that minute and doing nothing else but breathing.
Yeah, very good. So, can you give everybody a little practice? Like, what should they do? Just sit there and breathe? Is there any?
It really depends. So, if you want to be comfortable, right? So I find sitting because laying down, you might fall asleep.
Definitely.
Nobody wants to fall asleep. That tells you you really need some nervous system work. Of just sitting in your chair with your feet on the ground and just
Mm.
sitting up tall so that the air is flowing through your body. And a nice grounding breath is really just in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And you're feeling the breath through the body. And just doing that for 1 minute can seem like 20. And it gives your body oxygen.
It
We
does.
need oxygen to live. And if you
You,
ever watch people you can tell that they're really fast and moving around, you can tell they don't breathe. Their breath is so shallow that just learning how to give your body some oxygen because it's necessary for life
yeah,
and
right.
function for your body, it's
We
just
need
so
it.
simple. Exactly.
Right. And just that remembrance of just take a deep breath. Even when you were suggesting it, I sat there, took a deep breath, and instantly I'm more present. I feel better. It's like, oh, right. Okay. Nervous system.
And we get more accomplished when we take those small breaks. Otherwise, we're like, on to this and on to this and on to this. And it probably is taking us longer to do what we want to do
I
because
think it is. I've kind of researched it. I've been like,
yeah.
when I'm multitasking and going from thing to thing and I'm not settled, I
Mm,
waste so much time versus when if I was to take a breath and get settled, I get more done in less time.
absolutely.
Yeah, I really love this. When you say you're a nervous system whisperer, what does that mean?
So, I was thinking of if you make things too complicated for people, it's just not going to land. And the reason that's been something that people started calling me is because of the calmness, right? Of just bringing that calmness over the body and
Yeah.
being able to show people that just simply doing some breaths that your body wants, even placing your hands on your body and doing a breath like we just did, it brings so much peace, right? You don't have to do anything that's aggressive. It's gently talking to the body and gently allowing the body to unwind itself.
Hmm.
And in the elemental embodiment work that I do, you don't have to talk. All you have to do is allow your body to breathe. I guide it based on what it wants that particular day. And the body knows what to do. It unwinds what it's holding on to without even thinking about it.
Yeah, it unwinds. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about all the things that, all the modalities or exercises that women do, and we kind of push and grind and like, oh, even breath work itself can sometimes feel like we're doing so much. And what you're saying is like, just allow the body.
Mhm.
And it just feels relaxing to even hear that. And many of you watching or listening can relate. Just put yes in the comments if you can relate to the, oh, like I don't want to grind anymore. I just want to listen. So, Heather, I love that you're saying this.
Well, it's interesting too, because some people will comment, oh, I can't come today, I'm a mess. Okay, you're coming because you're a mess, right?
Right? We don't come to the healing because we're fully healed. We don't, yeah.
Like, that's why you're doing this. This is the perfect time to do it. And, someone I saw yesterday, she's like, I didn't want to come. I didn't want to come. And she had been dealing with something very stressful the entire weekend, and she didn't want to come because she was crying. And I said, good, we're gonna work through that. And you might let a lot of tears out and you may not. And when we were done, I said, how do you feel? She goes, I'm not crying. So she cried all weekend. Just, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It just allowed her body to let things go differently.
Yeah. And sometimes when we let ourselves be held, we let
Mhm.
ourselves come together and out of isolation. Can you speak about that a little bit? Like, why do women need to come out of the I can do it all myself isolation and into we can lean on each other for support?
That isolation often comes from mistrust, because you can't trust. You think you've created along the line somewhere that you can't trust. Probably from childhood, you decided you can't trust people, and then it became very hard, right? Friends, family, or nobody can do it as good as you can do it, so you must do it because you have to be in control. And I had that as a core program too of control. And I realized with work that the reason I felt I needed to be in control is because I needed to keep myself safe as a child, and it was my responsibility. And then I latched onto it and I carried it, but I put it into every aspect of my life, which even though I worked with people, it still kept me isolated because I didn't want anyone to help me. I didn't trust anybody to help me. I never went to therapy a day in my life because I didn't trust anybody to help me. So it keeps you isolated. And humans are energy. Our body is full of energy in and out, and we are connected by energy. And I don't know if you've ever been with even on a video with somebody, but you can actually feel their energy even if you're not in the room with them.
Absolutely.
And you can feel it. You can feel what's going on with them. And we need to be connected in that way, and we need help. And when we realize that those old beliefs that we had, that we couldn't trust somebody, right, and nobody could do it like we could, when we realize those are little lies that our brain has been telling ourselves, when we realize that, then we can come back into connection with people, we can trust people, we can lean on people, and people want to help each other. They do.
We do. We want to be led into each other's worlds. And sometimes it's such a gift to be asked for help or support.
And we can't do it all ourselves. I mean, if you own your own business, you are not going to do it all yourself. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. You'll drive yourself nuts, or you will go nowhere and you won't be in business anymore,
Exactly.
right?
You'll stunt the growth.
You're going to stunt your growth, or it's going to get too hard.
Yeah,
If you don't let others in, it will be too hard. And then stepping forward, you won't know how to do it.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is so powerful and so important. And I heard you speaking about like the patterns or stories that we got as children. Like, yeah, I need to protect myself, so there I'm controlling, or I need to do it alone. How do you think that affects everyone like differently? Does everybody have stories and traumas that are we're telling ourselves, you mentioned the lies. We're telling ourselves little lies. Talk to us more about that. How do we know the difference between the lies and what we think is our own personal, like how do we tell?
But you can't be a human being alive on this planet without having something, right? And even when you think about the word trauma, trauma just means there is too much going on for your body to be able to handle it. So
Yeah,
the way that our bodies store at the cellular level, like that tense and that tightness, the more we don't allow ourselves to unwind, the more tension and trauma we cling on to.
true.
And it becomes a big problem, right? It becomes many layers of a problem. And, I'll speak personally about myself. If I would have started when I was doing all my magical things that we just talked about, if I would have started being out there on social media and doing these things, I'd probably be a bazillionaire right now.
Yeah.
I kept myself hidden because in my brain, I wasn't good enough.
Yes.
I wasn't educated enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. You name it, I was not enough of it. And I let that belief get in my way of really getting out there and helping the number of people that I could help.
Yeah.
And so it affects women often of getting in their own way, right? Because
Yes.
they think,
I
oh,
hear it so much. I have it too. Like as a leader, I'm doing all the things and it's still like I know there are still stories that are making me make certain decisions. And it's just, I can see it. It's like, wow. So those belief
And
systems.
once you recognize, you're like, what in the world? It's so interesting is even when, long story short, I had to walk away from a practice that I had built from the ground up. And it's perfect that I did that. And this person had to treat me a specific way for me to do it so that I could move forward and do what I need to do and what I'm supposed to do in the world. However, 3 years after the fact, I was doing a neurolingual programming technique that's a parts integration where part of you really wants this and part of you really wants this. And you think those two things are very much in conflict with each other. And my conflict was I want to be out there. I want to be on stages. I want to be talking. I want to tell women that they don't have to feel like crap, that there is a way to feel better. If you have an autoimmune disease, it is not the end of your life. We can help you.
Yeah.
And so we're doing this parts integration, and you have to create an image of what each part looks like. And the part that was holding me back was the person that I had walked away from in the practice. It was the doctor in the practice. And he was this big in my hand, and he was flapping his arms up and down and wearing his three-piece suit. And I started laughing. I was like, oh my goodness, that's still holding me back because he loved social media. He loved being in a three-piece suit. He was really good at talking and not so good as in the practice with our patients.
Right.
And that image was still holding me back. And once I integrated those parts, went away, and then I started getting myself out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I see you in Women's Spirit Festival here. You're all over the place in panels and interviews and speaking, and your photos are gorgeous. And it's just like, okay, I can see the result of that integration. Like you're fully expressed and embodied and helping women. That's the most important piece. Like you're able to step in and help. I love that. Like, how many of you all watching, listening, you have a part of yourself that's like 2 inches high and it's somehow controlling your fullest expression. Yeah, beautiful. And how can we use this nervous system work that you do to go into those parts, the mind, the beliefs, and the stories that we have to integrate and heal?
It's an experience. And there's so many layers of it. And I think the easiest thing to do is start small. And the first thing to do is you really have to have awareness that this is even happening, right? Of bringing the awareness and knowing, you know what, I don't feel so good. If when I did my talk yesterday, I talked about experience, right? Is that people do stuff, there's chaos everywhere, but we can choose how we react to that chaos, right? This chaotic thing happens, you don't like it, it's stupid, whatever, right? You can have a lot of emotions around it. Recognizing that that is actually causing a lot of thoughts and those old beliefs in the head, and just recognizing that right away that if I don't feel very good, whatever I'm thinking about it right now is probably not quite true. It's just something that we have been thinking for so long
Yeah.
that we made it true. And just recognizing that. So if you're in a situation where somebody made you mad, your husband made you mad, and then all these thoughts go, oh, great, he's going to be late. Well, that means he can't help me with dinner. He can't help me with the kids. That means I'm going to be late. I'm not going to get my private. So all those thoughts come down and you feel anxious and nervous. Whatever you're thinking is probably not quite true. It's probably just that he ran out of time and has something that he has to do.
Right. Because we make up a story about the thing. He just ran out of time.
Mhm.
There's no emotions in that, but the
Oh.
story we make up about
Mhm.
ourselves based on what we see in the world, like that, it ruins days.
It
Like,
it does.
so what
So
can women do in the moment? Like, what's a good practice that you have?
recognizing, if you're feeling amped up, go, oh, if I'm amped up, whatever I'm telling myself is probably not quite true. And sometimes you can just table it and go, okay, it's not even true. I'm not going to react, right? Is this awareness? The lovely thing about this work is once your brain gets used to it, it just automatically happens where you don't have to work at it. You just have to take the action steps at first.
So you can train yourself, you can train your brain in it.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, starting with awareness. You you have a gift for everyone, a resource that ladies can use. Let's hear about that because I think that would be a perfect next step if ladies are like, okay, how do I do this?
Absolutely. So, um, if you put secrets in the comments, I'm going to send you just a little free workbook. And it's very easy. And when you read through it, you go, oh, that makes sense. But until you know it, you don't know it, right?
Right. Simple tools, everyone. Put secrets in the comments. Tell us more about it.
It's three secrets of what success really looks like. Because we often measure our success in how much money we make, how we look, like how did we move up in a company, how many degrees do we have, right? And that's not even what success looks like. When you wake up and you feel content and you feel peaceful and you can move through your day in a state that just allows you to do what you want to do, right? Gives you the freedom to do it. It doesn't mean someone's not going to do something crappy, but it's okay because you can handle it then. That's what real success is. And the
Mm,
workbook works you through that just a bit.
perfect. I love that. So simple. So put the word secrets in the comments down below right now, everyone. The word is secrets. Do that, and then Heather will connect with you personally and make sure that you get that beautiful resource. So thank you for that. And you have talks going on inside a Women's Spirit Festival as well. Let's hear about those.
Yeah, absolutely. So the talks are, because I have so much to say, and isolating it down into actionable steps. So 3 parts was perfect into doing this. So yesterday, my talk was on when emotions turn into symptoms. So when you start noticing that your brain is a little bit foggy and not so clear, when you're feeling tired and you're draggy, or if you're feeling bloated, or if you feel like, you know what, I just can't balance my weight the way that I used to, it's just recognizing that awareness of where that lives and really whether or not you're either living in a primal stress state or a powerful state.
Mm,
You're living in one or the other, not both. And you go in and out, but you do not want to live in the primal state most of the time.
no.
So it gives you some awareness of identifications into that. And then today, right before this, I walked people through a neurolingual programming release technique that identifies how many hours of each day you maybe spend in a state of stress, what emotion is your dominant emotion. So fear is a big emotion for a lot of women, that there's fear living in their body that they don't even know it. It identifies where that lives in your body and then going through a release process of
Mm,
it. Of what
yeah.
does that actually look like? And then Friday is my favorite part. That's the elemental embodiment part. That's the breath and energy work. That's the how can we allow your body to unwind without having to talk about it, without having to think about it, of just allowing the body to do what it knows how to do.
Oh, this sounds so wonderful. So, a three-part series is inside Women's Spirit Festival, everyone. By the time you hear this video, it's probably all up there. So, go and search Heather Hanson in the search bar. So, you're here inside a Women's Spirit Festival. Go up to there's a little search thing that looks like a magnifying glass. Just type in Heather Hanson, and you'll see all of her content pop up. So, these interviews are really special, but they're not the main event in Women's Spirit Festival. It's actually the talks and workshops that are happening inside of this. So you can catch this three-part training from Heather. Just type her name in, catch all 3 parts, and it's like beautiful workshops, this spiritual wellness school for women around the world, and they can take these workshops in for free. So everyone, if you're watching this, go search Heather. And if you're like, oh, I know a sister who needs this, or like a friend who's dealing with nervous system issues, press that invite button right now, everybody, because we want to have as many women access this event without barrier. So we love this. And Heather, this work that you're doing is so very powerful. So I'm really glad that you've come in and given so much to Women's Spirit Festival. We love having you. What's something that you want women to think about as they're going through their days?
I want to challenge women to really think about what they actually want in the next decade of their life. So wherever they're at now, just what do they want? How do they want to feel? What do they want to be doing? Who do they want to be around? And just starting that thought of, if you're feeling stuck, that is perfect,
Hmm.
because that's not where you get to be. You just have to make the decision that you don't want to live like that anymore, and then taking the action steps. And the first thoughts of it is your brain needs to know it's possible so it can get there.
That is one of the best and most confronting questions ever. What do you want? Write it in the chat, somebody, because it puts us face to face with, do I even know what I want? Do I even give myself permission to even want at all? If you can relate, everyone, put it in the comments. What's your experience been like? Some of you might have been just too busy, like Heather talked about earlier, always doing, too busy to even pause and ask yourself what you want. So Heather, I think that's one of the most powerful questions a woman can ask herself. What do I want?
And we get to want what we want.
We get to. Like, it's okay. It's like
Okay.
we're training ourselves as women. Hey, it's okay to want what you want. It's okay to have wants. Yeah. And it's safe to. And with your nervous system work, we can feel that it's safe to have wants and to want what we want.
And we forget we have one life to live here. We have one body. We need to take care of our body. We need to feed it and hydrate it and allow it to sleep. We need to allow it to be. And we get to dream. Because what's the point if we don't enjoy our days, right? Just we're working our fingers to the bones. What do you have at the end?
Yeah. It's so true. And that's perspective. Like in your life, you've been through a lot of challenges and so many things that you've gone through. And if we don't have the ability to have fun and enjoy, what are we doing this for? Life is so precious,
It
so
is.
precious. Yeah. So as we wrap up, what do you want all women to remember?
I want you to remember that you get to be whoever you want to be. And you can step into a room. It does not matter. As soon as that room opens, you step in and you are who you decide you're going to be, and nobody knows. Because if you run into 1,000 people, each one of those people are going to have a different idea of who you are, and none of them is who you think you are.
Wow. That's an awakening process right there. You get to decide who you want to be. Because, like we were talking about earlier, we get those traumas as children, we make up stories. Next thing you know, we're running something that's not even real. So, especially women over 40, I want to ask you this as well. Like, we get to decide who we want to be at this chapter of our lives.
Mm. Me too, especially talking about women in their 40s and hormone imbalance and going into menopause. Oh my goodness, this is the most enlightening happiness that you can ever have if you choose to move forward in that direction.
I've called it my awakening, not a crisis, but an awakening because it's hard. It's been really hard, but it is, there's so much potential in it.
You know what's funny is I had this on top, but see this redefining menopause book? I had to write my story in there because that was my an opening into, oh my gosh, I am not going to be in this space. It's going to be different. And I wrote in that a chapter in that book so that I could help other women say, yeah, this is hard, but there's a way out of it. And yes, you can gain muscle
Yeah.
in your 50s
Yeah.
if you want to.
Right. And there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like this can be some of our other speakers. I'm always loving when they hear them speak. It's just like this can be a great time in our lives. So, like, we're stepping into it with power. Yeah. And our nervous systems can help us the whole way. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Heather, I could go on and hear more of your wisdom. I'd love to have you back on the show and do a longer episode, even, and just dive in deeper with you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom with our audience. Again, everyone, to connect with Heather, the word is secrets. To get her free resource and to connect with her more, go search her talks. I hope that you're all enjoying these. Come back for more. Go and search all the amazing speakers. This event is so powerful and wonderful. And thank you, everyone, for watching and being the best part of Women's Spirit Festival. We'll see you on the next interview. Thanks again, Heather.
Hey, thank you.
Bye, everyone.